What's up, guys? It's Crash, and I know we're primarily a Battlefield YouTube channel around here, but occasionally when things happen that are big, I talk about them too, and I think this is definitely one of those. I think this is going to be some of the biggest news in the first-person shooter space that we've seen in a very long time. I talked a little bit about when the leaks came out for Counter-Strike 2, and what I meant by that is this game was still growing at the time this news came out. They have just seen over 1.4 million concurrent players online on Steam. That is the all-time peak for this game that's been around for a long time. And just about that time coming out with a Counter-Strike 2 as you guys can see on the screen, as it's officially called. So I want to talk about this because of the implications across the industry. Some of the things that they're doing could hopefully impact Battlefield, Rainbow Six, and some of the other franchises, because I think this game is going to be hugely successful, and that's something that we see in the industry a lot of times. When one game is very successful, other ones follow suit, kind of monkey see, monkey do in the FPS genre, at least in that industry. So I thought the quickest way to get you guys the news about what is actually happening with Counter-Strike 2, what is it, I thought I would just pull up the blog post and talk about it with you guys. Please let me know down below. I would love to hear from some Counter-Strike veterans what you guys are most excited about, what you're looking forward to. I admittedly am a massive noob when it comes to Counter-Strike. I'm just really interested in the implications of the industry, but this is going to make me pick it up and give it a try. I really enjoyed Rainbow Six, Search and Destroy, those bomb type modes, in addition to my Battlefield playing. So I think I'm going to give it a go with Counter-Strike. So let me know some tips and tricks in the comments as well, and let me know what you guys are most looking forward to and what you think of this giant news. And maybe we could probably set up some betting lines on over under what the concurrent player base is going to be when this thing launches, because I think it's going to be pretty massive. So the main thing that everybody is wondering when it comes out, it sounds like it's going to be this summer, so really not that far off. And they're starting today a limited play test of all the game's new features in Counter-Strike 2, and we were wondering if it was going to be called CSGO, like Source 2. They're actually calling it straight up Counter-Strike 2, and it's going to be a free upgrade to CSGO, so you'll be able to build your loadout. A lot of this stuff carries over. People worried about skins and all that stuff, because I know those are a big deal in Counter-Strike. That stuff's getting carried over, and a lot of the fan favorite, the core maps, are going to be remained unchanged, but we'll get into the maps here in just a little bit. But it's starting with the limited play test, and a lot of you guys are probably wondering, how the heck do I get in this thing? So they looked at things like your account standing and reputation, time played, to select the few people who could get in on the limited play test for bug testing. I'm guessing a lot of pros and everything got in as well. So if you play a lot of Counter-Strike, you can definitely check. They said you'll be notified in the game menu if you were selected, so check that out if you were, and you can stream it and post gameplay and all that stuff. So I will leave a link to this blog post, because it has also, if you guys want a little bit more deep dive, it has links to the YouTube videos that they posted today that go in depth in some of these biggest changes. So let's go ahead and finish talking about some of the biggest changes. One of those is some of the gameplay changes are coming to smokes. Smokes, as you guys know, are a huge part of CSGO, a huge part of the meta. And you can see in this image, this shows a really good aspect of it. The smoke is just becoming more interactive with the map overall, interactive with lighting, interactive with seeping in through doorways and windows and things like that. But also, it apparently reacts with bullets, so you guys can see you could shoot through the smoke right here and get just a little bit window of visibility. The HE grenades also make a massive hole through the smoke so you can look through. So that's really going to change up how smoke grenades are used and how they are played for sure. You can also see how it seeps through spaces behind the dumpster and things between the cracks of the dumpster. It's just supposed to act more realistic, and with a big gameplay change like this, it's going to definitely change up how things are played. And again, one of the biggest things with Source 2 also is obviously the lighting, so you can see that it reacts to the lighting. That's the new updates on the engines. Again, this is something that I'm incredibly excited to feel, because as of late, I've been playing Search and Destroy, Rainbow Six, Tarkov, I mean, even Battlefield 2042. A lot of these games really have moments of incredibly rough netcode and hit reg. So I'm really excited to see how this plays. Valorant plays actually really well. I want to know more about this technology, and I want to know if this is going to be incorporated in other things, if it's game changing. And what they're saying is Techcrate no longer matters for moving or shooting. Sub-tick updates are the heart of Counter-Strike. Previously, the server only evaluated the world in discrete time intervals called ticks, which we are familiar with tick rates of servers. How many times per second is information sent and received from the client to the server? Thanks to CS2's sub-tick update architecture, servers now know the exact instant that motion starts and shot is fired or a nade is thrown. As a result, regardless of tick rate, your moving and shooting will be equally responsive, and your grenades will always land the same way. So it really seems like there's going to be almost like a real-time connection, cutting down on the lag, and it feels like there's some new technology here. If there's anybody who is familiar with this stuff and what is going on behind the scenes, I would love to know more down in the comments, because I feel like the better we can get multiplayer shooters to play, the better experience everyone's going to have across games. So if this is some kind of new technology, I would definitely love to learn more about it. And then this stuff that people are also excited about, like the third biggest thing, is the maps, the overhaul, the Source 2 engine itself. How does it look? What are you going to see that's different? So there's they put maps in different categories. So they have full overhaul maps. The overhauled maps have been fully rebuilt from the ground up, leveraging all the new source tools and rendering features. So this is an example of Overpass, CS2 on the left, CSGO on the right. You guys can see massive changes to updates, textures, shadows, everything, even a little bit of different shapes and cover, and the artwork and stuff, like the light poles and trees on the left side. These maps could potentially look like they'll play a little bit different with some slightly different angles and stuff like that. You can see in the lower tunnels as well, lighting much better, and you'll notice that across all of these. The lighting is way better. In the restroom, Doc, don't come in here with the camera. Sorry, but you can see a much better visibility and updates to everything. It just looks really good, really cool. I'm excited to get in and give these a try. I'm going to be a CSGO noob. It's going to be rough for a while. I understand that. And then the second category of maps, these are maps that use new Source 2's lighting, including a physically based rendering system that produces realistic materials, lighting, and reflection. So the maps are really unchanged. They didn't do any changes to them other than visually, right? Fidelity, it looks like a little bit of textures, and definitely, as you guys can see, CS2 on the left, CSGO on the right, much improved lighting, which is good for boomers like me with poor eyesight. So yeah, just much brighter, a little bit better for competitive play, I feel like, and visibility is always definitely good. Just pretty much simple lighting changes, slight adjustments to the textures you guys can see. And then we have the all-time classics, right? Touchstone maps, classic maps with solid foundations that players can use to evaluate gameplay changes from CSGO to Counter-Strike 2. These have improvements to lighting and character read, but otherwise haven't been changed. So essentially, just lighting. Everything else is the same. You guys can see Dust 2 right here. Lighting, it's brighter, right? Less shadows, a little bit change to ambient occlusion, changes to the shadow distance resolution and stuff like that. Pretty much unchanged. So before, after. Mid doors, before, after. So I think that's really cool. And in games that need updates, like maybe Rainbow Six, something like that is really cool. Keep your touchstone maps, keep those core maps, you know, intact that people are used to. Let them hit with that nostalgia. And then the newer ones, update those, make those better. And I think it kind of keeps everyone happy. The other thing, the last thing I'm going to touch on, and I think this is kind of a theme around the industry right now, with user-generated content kind of being the answer for the lack of content that we've seen in some of these AAA games. We've seen it with Halo Forge. Fortnite just announced a massive Unreal editor today, which is also huge. Battlefield Portal, what it could have been with user-generated content. And then we have an update to Source 2 tools, and rendering features will be available for community map makers to make it easier to build, experiment, and iterate. Stay tuned for the Source 2 item workshop. Will be available later on in the limited test. So soon, people that work on maps and map makers will be able to get their hands on this and be able to make new things a lot easier from what it seems like. So I'm excited as the possibility of that, and mods and everything like that. Also, just to reiterate, the skins are still coming. I know a lot of people have very valuable skins, and those are going to carry over, but they will be adjusted with, you guessed it, the new lighting. So everything is looking pretty good there, and I think people will be excited. There's minor upgrades to gameplay visuals. That's blood splatters and bullet impacts and things like that. Environmental impacts with lighting. Definitely are going to see an upgrade with greater visual fidelity and consistency, and the UI gets a little bit of a facelift, but those are kind of the main things. And then audio, I'm interested to see how this plays out. Again, as you guys know, audio is a huge factor in first-person shooters. The audio has been reworked to better reflect the physical environment, be more distinct, and express more game state. They have also been rebalanced for a more comfortable listening experience. So adjusted that mix a little bit, maybe compressed it a little bit so the gunshots aren't as loud in relation to footsteps. And there's a lot more to come. In the next few months, they'll reveal all the details of Counter-Strike 2, and we can't wait to share it with you. So guys, Thank you for watching. I wanted to go through the news. Again, we're going to be keeping our eye on it on this channel. I really want to get into Counter-Strike and play it. I think this is going to be, like I said, guys, I cannot wait to see what the current concurrent player numbers end up reaching on Steam for this game. I think it's going to be astronomical, but why not? I'd like to hop in and give it a go. Let me know in the comments if you're thinking about checking out CS2, if it's going to bring you back to the franchise, into the franchise in the first place. And I would love to hear more from you down in the comments. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more Battlefield and FPS content, and we'll hopefully see you on the next one.